Hello! So sometimes people mention that they think I have a nice butt, and I'll agree with them, whatever. And a lot of those people ask me what I do as far as exercise to get the butt I have. So because I've been relatively active for most of my life, and because genetics has provided me with like a fairly decent leg game, I've never had too much issue with my butt. However, when I saw this video, I realized my butt wasn't really all I wanted it to be. It wasn't as perky as I wished it was, and I really wanted to get that lower back ass, which is the way I refer to nice, full, strong glute minimus and glute medius, which are like tucked up on the top of your iliac crest. So a few days after I saw that video, I ended up joining the gym. And then I went to the gym about 3 days a week for about 3 months and really almost exclusively focused on building my glutes and thighs. So I have a love-hate relationship with the gym. That or it's just like a hate-hate relationship with leaving my house only to be stuck inside a building with fluorescent lighting. And I'm so cheap. So I actually prefer to work out at home, though home workouts do come with some challenges and limitations. So the moves that I'm about to show you in this home workout, you can do it with just your own body weight. That's totally fine, and it'll go a long way towards providing toning for the muscles. But if you want to make significant muscle gains and really reshape your body and build your curves, you're going to have to incorporate significant weight and resistance. If investing in home weights or some kind of resistance bands is a little bit outside of your reach right now, I totally understand. Just keep in mind that there are a lot of things that you can use around your house to provide that weight and resistance. You'll see in this video I even use a gallon-sized jug that's full of water as resistance, and you can incorporate this into many different exercises. Also, if you want to get a nice rounded booty that looks full and bountiful, you have to do many varied exercises from many different angles that target your muscles in different ways. Just doing squats won't cut it. So keep in mind as you watch this video that this is just one of my workouts. Many of these exercises I do every single time I work out, but a lot of the times I mix in different exercises as well. So in past and future videos, you'll get an idea of the varied types of workouts I do. But if you start with just these fundamentals that I'm showing you in this video and you do them consistently, you'll be well on your way to having a really nice butt. So without further ado, so here I'm doing some bodyweight squats just to get warmed up, and you'll notice that my knees track over my toes, and that is very important in all exercises where the knees bend. Twisting your knees is how you tear ligaments, so you need to be careful. You'll also notice that when I squat, my thighs go parallel to the floor, and it took me a long time to be strong enough to do that. So don't beat yourself up if you just can't get there yet, and don't push yourself beyond your limits. That's also how you tear ligaments. So I just go until I feel about warmed up. Here you'll see I'm doing some body weight kickbacks. I think these are really amazing for tightening and lifting the glutes. Also notice that I'm leaving my upper body unsupported to give it a bit more of an additional challenge in my back area and help with strengthening and postural stuff. These are surprisingly challenging even when they're not weighted, so I like to do these a lot. And same thing other side, you'll see that there's a slight bend in my standing leg. No need to lock your knees here, and just kicking back with a really nice squeeze there at the top. And a wee stretch to open up the area around my sacrum and hips. And now you'll see I'm going to move into a weighted squat. So this is a 40-pound dumbbell, and it's lower than the weight that I'll use at the gym, where I generally use one of the stabilizing squat machines, and I'll lift around 100 pounds at the gym. Now, due to some hip instability issues I have, when I do freeform squats, I always use lower weight to prevent injury. You'll see here from a different angle, thighs get a little bit past parallel. Try not to fall over. And then I'm really focusing on keeping a nice curve in my low back as I push up and really focusing on engaging the glutes. Another tip is to do a slight isometric external rotation with your feet, which means that you would be spinning your feet outwards, like out to the side, without them actually moving, and that engages the muscles around your knees and your feet and your legs and keeps everything really stable. Give your dog a pat always. Now you'll see I'm setting up my resistance bands, which were actually given to me as a gift, but I believe they came from Amazon. I will try to find the link for you guys and put it in the description box. So I use the 2 bands with the highest resistance, and it feels like it adds up to about 15 or 20 pounds worth of resistance, which is what I set the cable machine to in the gym when I do this exercise. So here you will see I'm doing some weighted kickbacks. And for torque reasons with the weight, I am not able to do it unsupported on the upper body. So I hold myself stable with my arms, but I do my best to keep as much engagement as I possibly can with my back. A strong back is a happy back and leads to excellent posture. And as I'm doing this, I'm really focusing on getting a strong squeeze at the top of the movement, which really engages your glute medius, minimus, and maximus, and will get you that nice lower back ass. And I use the same weight to kick my bent leg out to the side. Notice that I'm keeping my toes flexed on the leg that I'm kicking out, and that really helps to protect your knee from any weird twisting. This exercise is phenomenal for building the glute minimus and medius, which will give you a nice, full, round-looking hip and produce what I think is called the thigh brow. I don't even know. Heard of it. Think it's crazy, but hey, if you want a thigh brow, this is gonna do it for you. This movement is kind of the at-home equivalent of doing the thigh abduction machine. And you'll see that I'm gonna do it at a slightly different angle. So when you do things at slightly different angles, you work slightly different muscles, and you get a result that is a lot more rounded and full. I got a comment from some girl, oh lord, it hurts me to think that she was probably just like 13 and hating her body because she had something called hip dips, which I had to Google, and you know, if you suffer from hip dips, this'll help fill them out. Just make sure you keep your toes flexed, and if you get any low back or sacrum discomfort, lower the weight that you're using. And now I'm doing a kickback that is slightly sideways, again to work those glute minimus and medius muscles as well as the glute maximus. Again, just so you get like a nice rounded, full bottom. Some people advise to keep your hips totally stationary in this so that you just strictly isolate the glute muscles, but I like to let my hips move a little bit, which gives me a tiny little oblique crunch and engages the back. And you'll see I switched my supporting leg from being behind the band to now being in front of the band. And this move can cause quite a bit of torque on the low back or knees, so if this doesn't feel good, don't do it. No need. And now I've moved to the front to give my hip flexors a little bit of work, which is always, always, always my weak spot. So I don't like doing it, but it's important to get it done. And again, if this doesn't feel good on your lower back, or if it's torquing your knee, your standing knee, you don't have to do it, or you can reduce the weight significantly. Next, more modified kickbacks. This time I am bending the right knee, standing knee, and tracking it out over my toe. So this works both legs at once and gives you a bit of a thigh and glute builder all around. You'll notice as I kick back, my lower back stays arched the whole time, which keeps it very stable and strong. When I get compliments on my nice erectors, This is why, guys. So I'm actually really lazy in that I don't count the number of reps that I do. I just kind of do it until it feels like I'm getting a good enough burn that I'm satisfied with, and then I get bored. So I know there are a lot of people that are like really insistent that you have to do it for a certain number of reps and everything, but I wouldn't do it if I had to be that particular. Another round of side lifts. This time I'm bending my supporting leg and creating a slight rotation as I drop the left hip. If you do this move, make sure it feels super stable. If the weight makes you feel like you're straining, don't do this, as it can be a risky move for injury. The reason I do this move is because it works a lot of the really small stabilizing muscles in the glutes, and again, it just gives you that nice rounded full look. Just go slow, be really focused about your movements, get a really nice squeeze and hold there on the top, and keep your toes flexed the whole time, and make sure that that knee tracks out over your toes on the standing leg. And again, I don't really count my reps. I know, I'm so bad. I just do it until it feels good, and due to my hip instability and rotation, the way that I do moves is slightly different on each side. Just, do your best. This doesn't have to be perfect. This doesn't have to be something that you're obsessive about. You just do what you enjoy and do it consistently, and you'll get results. Certainly, if you want to be more pedantic about it, you're more than welcome to go for it. It's not my style. And again, I'm just kicking back, getting a really nice squeeze high up in the glutes to get that nice lower back bottom, and keeping a nice strong back. And then, just to prove my point that I don't do things in the right order, I go ahead and do the bent knee kickbacks. Again, tracking that standing knee over the toe, reaching back, nice squeeze, strong back, flexed toes. Here again we have the side lifts, and I'm really focusing on squeezing the leg up and towards the back. Since my hips aren't even, I tend to feel pretty stuck on this side, and I can get a little bit of pain around my sacrum. So I stretch with a slight forward bend if I start to feel that. So again, while you're doing this, slight bend in the knee of the standing leg, and then keep your toe nice and flexed on the moving leg. Protect your knees. If you've watched any of my other weightlifting videos or vlogs, you've probably noticed that I have done this move in the past with a 25-pound weight plate resting on my bent knee, and that's another way to do it. You definitely don't have to have these specific tools to be able to get these exercises done. And when you do so many exercises that are really squeezing from the glute medius and glute maximus, it can end up compressing the hip bones on either side of the sacrum, and things can feel a little bit stuck. So I like to do some stretching, light stretching, in between the exercises that I do. And then right back to it. Again, I don't really count how many I do, probably between 15 and 20 reps per set, and then I will do at least 2 to 3 sets per workout. So you really get in there. But if you're new to these kinds of moves and it feels like it's a significant challenge for you, just stop when you feel like you've been challenged enough, because once that happens, your form can get kind of sloppy and it leaves you vulnerable to injury. So here again, I'm doing some of the sideways kickbacks with the bands in front of my standing leg, again just to fill out the glute medius, minimus, and maximus in a nice round way. And switch the standing leg in front of the bands just to get a slightly different angle, which works slightly different muscles and builds your butt in a slightly nicer way. Again, just being mindful of the torque that this places on your low back and knees. Don't do it if it doesn't feel okay. more side kicks with flexed toes at a slightly different angle, this time coming a little bit more in front of the body to work that thigh brow area. Again, it's great for the hip flexors as well, and just make sure there's not too much torque on that lower back. If there is, lower the weight. And then coming in the front, try not to fall down, gotta find the right place. And again, I would do these series of exercises 2 to 3 times with probably 15 to 20 reps each time. Next up, I use a chair and do a combo step up and kick back. I like to do weighted and unweighted kickbacks as I feel that my upper glutes get more engaged when it's actually unweighted. So I go on each side until I feel like I'm bored enough that I must be done. And again, you're just keeping the back nice and strong. Your arms are really only there to make sure you don't face plant. And as you bend that standing leg, it is tracking over the knees. And then I come into a very wide stance to do a body weight only squat where I just go down and hover, kind of bounce around, and then come up and do some kickbacks. I'll do this a few times in a row. And now you can see I'm actually using a gallon water jug full of water, and it's rainwater. And I'm doing this to create resistance as I do a bent knee side lift to build, again, the glute medius minimus and maximus. And it's a little bit more awkward than using the bands, but it definitely works. And then, oh my god, it's so exciting. A wide stance, body weight only squat, and I'm shifting from side to side and then doing a kickback. So by doing kind of a dynamic move like this, you get a nice diverse engagement of all the muscles around your booty, so you get a nice shape. Now to continue beating up my glute medius, minimus, and maximus, I get the giant rubber band that came with the resistance tubing I was gifted, and I put 1, sometimes 2 around my thighs right above the knee, and then I do all kinds of squats while pushing against the band, which is trying to pull my knees medially. A word of warning though, please make sure your knees continue to track directly over your toes. No shooting out to the sides or caving inwards. If this level of resistance prevents you from keeping your knees safe,
don't use the resistance bands until you're stronger from doing other exercises like this, just using your body weight. So I do squats, kickbacks, I will squat down and shuffle around the floor, jump around a little bit. Just a lot of different and varied exercises to again work different and varied muscles. And then there's the crazy twisty lunge, which isn't the most stable exercise and can be a genuinely terrible idea for anyone who has sensitive knees or previous ligament injuries. You will notice that as I do this, my front supporting leg externally rotates slightly, which causes my knee to continue tracking out over my toes. But again, this is a very unstable move to attempt, and it's not worth the risk of injury if you're prone to it. And you can definitely just do normal lunges if that feels better on your knees.
Alright, so that's about it for some basics. Please like this video if you got some good ideas for training your butt, and please comment down below what your favorite butt building exercises are. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe down below and click the little bell notification so that you'll actually know when I post videos. I hope this finds you well, and please remember to make better choices for yourself. No one else is gonna do it for you, and take really, really good care. I'll see you guys soon.